Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is Raspberry Reads. I took a very small holiday unintentionally in September just to deal with some life admin, but I'm back now. I have a little bit of a cold, so please do bear with me if I sound a little bit croaky and if I cough a little bit. I'll try and edit the coughs out. But yes, so today I'm back with a tag video, and this is the 8 books that evoke powerful memories, or 8 memories in books tag. I can't remember the exact title. I was tagged by Daniela at Uncommon Reader, so thank you Daniela for tagging me in this. This is a really interesting concept for a tag video. So we're looking at 8 books that evoke powerful memories regarding moments in your life or key experiences. And the intention is to see how our lives connect to books via experiences. And that can be interpreted in so many different ways. And I like the freedom to interpret in this tag video. So what I decided to do is to pick 8 moments in my life, in my reading life, and you'll see what I mean as I go through. So how these different experiences and how these different books have shaped me as a reader. That's just how I decided to tackle this tag, but I'll include some links in the description to other videos responding to this tag so you can see how we all approached it a little bit differently. But yes, enough waffle. So the first book out of the 8 is my childhood book. So thinking about a book that really got me into reading, kindling that love of reading, and also emphasizing my love for visiting libraries. So I used to visit my village library all the time as a child. I went with my mum, I went with my grandmother when she was looking after me. And one of the books that I do remember taking out of the library all the time is The Wingding Dilly by Bill Peet. So these books came out in the 70s, I believe, and I guess they were just what was available in my library at the time, but I loved this book. I have a few others that I've bought since then by Bill Peet. I think Bill Peet was also possibly a cartoonist or a writer for some of the Disney films back in the 70s. I could be entirely wrong about that, but I think that's the case. And yeah, I just love these stories. Lots of really great pictures. This one is about a dog that turns into a beast, this Wingding Dilly. Meets a witch, and then she transforms him. There's the witch there. Yeah, these books someone read them to me rather than me reading them on my own, because I was quite young when I was taking these out of the library. But nonetheless, this book is sort of exemplifies my love for reading starting at sort of age 4 or 5. All right, so the next book is thinking about primary school. So learning to read independently and learning to analyze books through book reviews. And that's what I do now on BookTube. So one of the books that really got me started into evaluating my thoughts on what I have read in a book review format is the K, or some people call it The Key, by Theodore Taylor. Again, this book is from the 60s or 70s, and I read it when I was in grade 6, in the very late 1990s. And the K, how I refer to it as, is about a boy, and he is shipwrecked and ends up befriending an older man, and it's all about their sort of survival on this island. And the book I enjoyed. It is problematic. I'm not going to say that it isn't. It's not a popular book nowadays, I don't think, for that reason. But the thing that I liked about the K is that it was one of the first opportunities I had to write a book review. We were given, I guess, a challenge in our class to see how many books you could read in like October, let's say. And we had these little red triangles where you'd write a little review about the book. And I just thought that this was the best idea ever. Such a nerd. But so I went overboard and I read as many books as I possibly could, to have as many red triangles stapled onto the bulletin board as possible. And The K is one of those books that really sticks out in my mind, that I ended up doing a class project on it. I was very into analyzing and reinterpreting in a creative way that book. So we've had childhood, early childhood, primary, then going on to secondary school is All Quiet on the Western Front by Enrique Maria Remarque, a very classic book, very well known. And this just sort of takes that review process, book analysis to the next level. So this was in grade 11. Grade 11 English class. It was one of the books that was our sort of set curriculum, and we had to read it and do a book study on it. And one of the aspects that I enjoyed most about this is, so All Quiet on the Western Front, if you haven't read it, is set in the First World War. It's all about the front, and one of the characters writes letters, and I interpreted that using an old boot and handwriting letters and putting them in the boot and making the boot all dirty, almost as if they were found on the front lines. And I just enjoyed that creative process about bringing a book to life and really like having a deep dive into what I've read. So All Quiet on the Western Front sticks out in my mind as one of my favorite books for doing that analysis. All right, now you can see there's a distinct shift coming up. So when I went and did my undergraduate, I started out doing a double major, and I was intending to go into biology. Won't bore you with the details, but I'm terrible at chemistry, so that's why that didn't happen. But I was always set on doing history, and one of the classes that sticks out in my mind that I did a lot of work on was I guess it was just the history of England, something like that. Anyways, one of the books that I remember reading and it really changing the direction of what I wanted to do in my career is The Making of the English Working Class by E.P. Thompson. This is a classic work of academic historical analysis, all about working classes in England. You can see I read it and marked very thoroughly. Could I tell you much about what was in this book? Absolutely not. I haven't looked at it in ages. But again, this is shifting to really more of like an analytical approach, writing essays on it, and I guess turning more towards like historiography and how we look at different periods of history and write about those periods of history. And so this book is representative of launching my path down to graduate school and wanting to become a historian. Okay, so did my undergraduate, decided I wanted to pursue history in graduate school. So then when I went to do my master's, I was doing history of science and medicine, and we had to do a module on history of science. And this book is one of the books that I absolutely fell in love with, and it really shaped the thesis that I wrote for my master's degree, and then subsequently shaped my approach to my PhD work. So yes, this is A Social History of Truth by Stephen Shapin, and it is basically emphasizing the importance of empirical knowledge about the natural worlds. We're looking at characters like Robert Boyle, lots of 17th century philosophers and how they were influenced by the sort of social mores of the time. Chapin refers to them as gentlemanly codes of conduct to resolve disputes. So it's looking at how the profession of science developed within this social umbrella of expectations. And then when I go on to look at history of medicine and recipe books, this idea of sociability and societal expectations definitely shapes my research. So yeah, I should say I'm not recommending these books to anybody. They're very like dense academic reads, which probably wouldn't be of interest to most of my viewers, but it's just to say from reflecting on my experiences as they relate to books, this is where you start to see me shift into academic reading. Okay, so another book I don't have with me, because it's in the loft, is my PhD. So I moved to England, went to Oxford, did my PhD, and I do have a physical book that is upstairs, and that's just a reflection on experience of 4.5, 5 years of intense research and work, which was a very difficult period of my life. And yeah, the culmination of all of that research is just into a single book format. Yeah, not much more to say on it than that, really. And then I've got, okay, so reflecting on that point, that it was very difficult to do a PhD. And after I finished, I hit a reading slump in a big way. So I finished at the end of 2015, 2016, I hardly read it all. And 2017, I read one book. And when I compare that to nowadays, it just makes me feel really sad because I was just not in a good headspace. But the one book that I read, and the one book that I would say that sparked just a little bit of interest in reading for fun again, was Yes Please by Amy Poehler. So Amy Poehler is a comedian, an actress. She has a really good podcast now, which I can link below for you. And I just love the escapism of this. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to forget about my current circumstances, and Amy Poehler's book did just that. So even though it was the only book I read in 2017, I don't regret that whatsoever. And I think it was really helpful to encourage me to start reading again, because the following year in 2018, my reading increased and has continued to increase year on year. And then, so the last book that I wanted to talk about is The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Lefton. And this book was the first book that I read for my work book club. So we started book club in the pandemic, and it was an opportunity that work provided to allow everybody who was working from home or not working at the moment to reconnect for our well-being and mental health. And I thought, okay, I will join book club. It's remote. I'm already at home. Easy, right? And 5 years later, we're still doing book club and we love it. We have, some people come and go, but I don't work at the same place anymore, but I'm still doing that book club. And that's the case with several of us. And we just have really good conversations about these books. We don't get too deep and meaningful about our conversations. We look at general themes. I should say we're led by a librarian, so he's really good for, teasing out those themes and providing prompting questions. But it's fun, and we've read so diversely that I really enjoy it so much so that I decided to make my booktube channel. But yeah, so the book that started it all was The Beekeeper of Aleppo, which is a fantastic book if you haven't read it. It's all about Syria and refugee experiences. So yeah, those are the 8 books that have shaped my reading experiences, my life through books, from childhood to learning to analyze books, to starting down a route of academic books, creating my own academic book, being really sad and not reading it all, let's perk myself up with a comedy, to I really love reading so much that I want to share it with others. So I hope that did a decent job of answering this tag. I hope it gives you a little bit more insight into me as a person, as a reader. And I'm not going to tag anybody, but if you would like to do this tag, then please do. And please tag me as well so I can watch your video. That just leaves me to say that I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading, and I'll see you soon in a new video. Take care.